Okay. Welcome to Dear Pop Culture. We are back with the podcast, the podcast, the one and only. I took a break. I didn't do the pod for a while, and just reconsidered some things, some aspects of what I wanted the podcast to be, and I realized that I wanted it to be this, where I stare into the barrel of a camera lens. So anyways, we recorded an episode just now with Dust. They're an incredible drag performer. They're so funny. We had a really good conversation. We were in my apartment. My DVDs were right there. We did talk about my DVD collection quite a bit. And, we talked about Taylor Swift and Goldie Hawn and which songs we'd love to hear again for the first time. It got really deep. So I can't wait for you to hear it. We had a lot of fun. Just gabbing, honestly. I hope you like the podcast. We're going to be back regularly with regular episodes about the pop culture that we love, that is dear to us. And yeah, you can just tell your friends if you like it. Share it. We're going to be sharing clips. It's a new era, a new season. We can call it season 2 or series 2 if you're British. And anyways, listen to the pod, subscribe and like it and all that good stuff. And also for me, you can follow the page on Instagram at Dearest Pop Culture. And also you could see me live at shows at the end of March 25th. Comedy Bucket and Goodie Bag at Slice of Life. That's what I have coming up at this moment right now. And there will be more in the future. Anyways, okay, I've already said that I hope you like it, so... I'm not doing intros anymore. We're just gonna jump in.
So we've begun?
We've begun.
I didn't even know.
Yeah.
Okay, that's amazing. That's great. Okay, well, let's talk about A Cinderella Story.
Okay, yeah. We should just bring out the DVDs.
Yeah. The DVD collection is lit.
Thank you. It was like I started when I was probably, 13 years old, like... When I first got a job at Dairy Queen, it was so I could go buy DVDs.
Yeah, that makes sense. I was at Walmart, and I used my Walmart money to buy DVDs.
Yes.
Absolutely.
At Walmart, the $5 bin?
The $5 bin, which obviously, I got first dibs at. Because I worked there.
Oh, that's my dream.
Yeah. And when Roseanne came out on DVD, I was... racking it up. Oh my god, I just saw Little Miss Sunshine. Well done.
I have some indie classics. They're mostly like the girls' sleepover classics, but there's some gems in there. Also, when so my brother had a lot of DVDs as well, and then he doesn't have a DVD player anymore. He gave me all of his old ones. And then he came over, he's like, "You own Training Day?" I was like, "That was yours." And he was like, "That was when I was trying to be straight." Like
trying to be straight in Kamloops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was trying to be a bro.
Okay, wow. We had an abrupt start. So I just want to thank you. I am one of few people who have been asked back on your podcast. I am now in the illustrious category of Randy Newmeyer, which is goals, honestly. So I'm grateful. I'm great. And the podcast being gone for a couple of months has left a hole in my life.
Oh my God.
So when you messaged me and you were like, "I'm ready to get back into it," I was like, great. Is this just her telling me to start tuning in again?
Hello, fan.
Yeah. Hey, fan of the podcast. I was like, I'm in the top 1%.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
So how are you feeling?
Feeling good.
Ready to jump back in?
Yeah, exactly. We're live from my new apartment as well. I moved.
Yeah, you told me you lived in Mount Pleasant, and then when you were like, let's record together, I was like, great. And then you were like, I'm in the West End. I'm like,
yeah, it's a lot. It was a big move. And the West End, I do like it, but it is like getting used to like downtown living.
Yes, it's a different soundscape, a different visual scape.
Yes.
It's a lot of everything different.
Yeah. I'm like there's an alley right where my windows are facing, so you know, at nighttime there's just people in the alley.
Yeah. Do you gaze down and patrol?
No, I'm trying to sleep.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's great. Do you have like an ambient white noise machine?
I have a fan.
Yeah, great.
Old school.
Perfect. The perfect ambient noise. A fan.
It honestly, it is. I've also like, that just reminds me, because I do sometimes listen to like sleep meditation podcasts.
Nice, yes, absolutely.
And so like, but it's very specific. I can only listen to like a couple episodes that I've picked out that I liked, because I was listening to one and it was like, yeah, it's going to be ocean sounds, and there's literally like birds in it. And I'm like, no, who's sleeping to birds?
No.
I can't sleep to
that.
It's
not it. You have to preview everything before you declare it a sleeping podcast.
Absolutely.
I fall asleep to audiobooks. That's my new thing.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's nice.
Yes, it's wonderful. So I've now fallen asleep to the entire Percy Jackson series.
Ooh. I was going to say, how is it? But you fall asleep
I've read it. I've read it before, so I was like, you know what? When I fall asleep to an audiobook, I probably need to fall asleep to something that I'm familiar with.
Yes.
Not something that's like deeply riveting that I'm like, what's going to happen next? That's not going to put me to sleep.
Just a bedtime story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
I did do that, like, before I moved to the podcast. I was looking, they have like Roald Dahl audiobooks. So we fall asleep to like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah.
I'm like, I am literally, it's a bedtime story. I'm a child.
I claim my Audible cost as a business expense.
Cool.
So that I can have free audiobooks.
How?
Well, you consider it research. If you're a writer, you can consider it like source material, or like however you want to categorize it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome.
It's really clever.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't know whether it's legal, so if someone watching this is like, that's not legal.
Well,
it's $16 a month, so.
Yeah. What I've done with Audible is they're like, your free trial, you get to download like 1 or 2 free books.
Yeah.
And then I like went off of it, and then like 6 months later they're like, come back, you'll get more free stuff for a free trial. And so like every 6 months you get a free trial. I'm like, okay.
Absolutely. And you basically get 3 new books, and like sometimes it takes you that long to listen to the books.
It's weird to like, 'cause when you physically look at a book, you're like, okay, but then when you see an Audible when it's like 18 hours, you're like, pardon me.
And then you get to the end of that 18 hours and you're like, it felt like nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I recently listened to Holly Madison, the Girls Next Door, Playboy Bunny, Down the Rabbit Hole, her autobiography.
I have that's right over my head. Holly Madison. Was she a Playgirl?
So kind of. So
Bunny,
this is all what I learned from from the book, is that Playmates are featured in the magazine, and then Playboy bunnies don't really exist anymore.
No,
and then
rest in peace, Hugh Hefner.
I guess, but no, it was because. But then she was just like a girl who lived in the mansion who was Hef's girlfriend.
Oh, okay.
And then like, so all these girls would like live in the mansion with hopes of being in the magazine.
Right.
And then because they made a TV show, a reality show, The Girls Next Door,
right, then
they got to be in the magazine. But she's like, a lot of Hef's girlfriends don't get to be in the magazine.
They just love him.
Yeah,
it's kind
but
of
it's
like
really
the House Bunny.
Yeah, well, and the House Bunny I think was kind of based on that show.
That movie is actually really, really heartwarming and sad.
It is, and very funny.
Yeah, it's one of the funniest movies. Yeah.
Yeah, I have to watch that again.
It's great.
Emma Stone, before we really like knew.
Emma Stone, Kat Dennings.
Yes. Oh my God, Kat Dennings.
Yeah, an underrated comedic legend, Anna Faris.
Yes.
Did you ever watch Best Friends?
With Ryan Reynolds
and Anna Faris.
Yes.
That movie.
Just Friends.
Just Friends.
Yes.
Corrected.
Just Friends.
The scene where she eats a tube of toothpaste because she has a concussion. When I was a kid, sent me. I was like, how do people come up with that sort of thing?
Yeah. Truly. It's like chilling.
Yeah.
She's so funny in it. I love the song. Forgiveness
is more than saying sorry. Yeah, never forget.
Yeah. That is one of the best comedic performances.
Hands down. And
all
like
time.
At that point when Just Friends came out, we'd already had Scary Movie. So we were familiar with Anna Faris. Mm-hmm. And like we kind of got it. But that was like a whole other level.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah. She has a podcast and
it's long though.
Yeah.
It's like hours long.
And she's like, I tried to listen to it and I'm like, oh, obviously she's not like playing a character. She's just a normal person. But I was like, this isn't funny.
No. It's like Busy Phillips' podcast. It's like 2.5 hours long every episode.
Oh my God.
They just talk and like sometimes I'm like really there for it and sometimes it's just good ambient, like background noise.
Yeah.
Cleaning.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how I learned that I have ADHD was from Busy Phillips.
That's so funny.
Actually, specifically Nikki Glaser on Busy Phillips' podcast.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's I learn a lot of stuff like that by listening to Whitney Cummings' podcast.
Yeah, absolutely.
She talks a lot about being like codependent and stuff like that. And it's also like a 3-hour long podcast.
Not to be super controversial, but listening to women talk about mental health struggles and mental health diagnosis and stuff is, I personally think, way more impactful and beneficial. And it's like the antithesis of the Joe Rogan podcast.
Yeah.
Because you're listening to women who struggle in the medical disparity of what it's like to try and be diagnosed as a woman in today's world.
Right.
It's great.
Yeah. It's empowering.
Fully. Wow, we just got super political.
Yeah. Also not.
Okay, I have a question for you.
Okay.
Would you say you're Ye's muse?
I was Josh Safdie's muse in Uncut Gems.
That was a moment in pop culture history I will never forget.
Oh my God. I can't forget. It's all over. My entire TikTok For You page is people just lip syncing to Uncut Gems.
Yeah. Incredibly unoriginal. As soon as there's 10,000 of them, I know. Start something new.
It actually drives me
crazy. Check the video count, folks.
And then I want to say to my For You page, I'm like, I swiped really fast off of this. That's me saying, don't show me this anymore.
Yes. Yeah.
I literally was like, can I mute a sound on TikTok? You should be able to do that.
TikTok. If you are listening, we would like to. It was amazing the first few times. It's in my head now.
Yeah.
It's cool. I don't need to
get it.
You can only swirl your tongue in a circle while saying Uncut Gems so many times.
Yeah. Before
I'm just like, okay, next joke.
And it was like the first, when I saw the interview, I was like, oh, it's kind of funny how she said it. But I'm like, it wasn't that funny.
It sounded like she had a stroke just on the word.
Yeah.
Just like a mini stroke.
True.
Oh, and on that note, last night I tried to watch Uncut Gems. Have you watched Uncut Gems?
It's stressful. Yeah.
It's very stressful.
Yeah.
From the minute it starts.
Yeah.
It's not a fun ride.
It's not. Like, Adam Sandler's performance is good, and it's, like, fun seeing him in that role, but it also, I don't think I would watch it a second time.
No. I shan't be.
No. No, shan't.
Julia Fox is fine in it.
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know. I was so stressed out that I was like, I watched it because I was like...
She's barely in it.
Yeah. I was like, okay, Uncut Gems, let's watch it.
She was not the muse.
No, she... No, most definitely not.
Yeah.
I mean, she had to cuddle with Adam Sandler a lot, which was actually kind of cute.
I would.
Yeah.
Would you?
Would I cuddle with Adam Sandler? Adam Sandler in The Wedding Singer, yes. Adam Sandler in 50 First Dates, yes. Adam Sandler and Jack and Jill.
Oh.
No.
Okay. There's a line.
Anytime he's with Drew Barrymore, I feel like he's at his best.
So true. Although I think my favorite Sandler film is Mr. Deeds. It's Winona Ryder.
I feel like we've talked about this before. Yes.
I've
heard about it on the podcast.
Probably.
There's a scene in that movie when I was a kid, I was like, that's what I want when I grow up. Which is when he has a water fountain that is fruit punch.
Yes.
Iconic.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah, it's like, and it is. It's like, what would a kid do if they were a millionaire?
Yeah. I think they used to film Adam Sandler movies back to back, so I think they filmed Mr. Deeds and Big Daddy at the same time. Because they have, like, overlapping energy, in my opinion.
Yeah, they're both, like, sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think they're a couple years apart.
Maybe in release.
Okay.
But they filmed Billy Madison and Happy Gilmore back to back.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Similar energy.
Big, same energy vibes. Yeah. I actually saw Happy Gilmore first and thought it was brilliant.
Oh,
when
yeah.
I was, 8?
Yeah. It was, my dad was, like, a huge Sandler fan in the 90s, so.
How could you not be? That's how we got famous.
Was it? Yeah.
Straight men loved him.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And Happy Gilmore, my dad was a big golf guy.
Oh, yes, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a weird thing. Like, growing up, my dad would just be watching golf. So I'm like, I know famous golfers. That's in there.
Okay. Give me some names. I won't know them, but I want to see you confidently speak their names.
Ernie Els, Phil Mickelson, well, Tiger Woods, Michelle Wee. Yeah, she was 13 when she started. That was inspiring to me.
That's great.
I was like, I could be a professional golfer.
That's feminism.
Exactly.
100%.
Yeah.
Late 90s feminism.
Exactly. Did you ever have, like, were you ever into sports? Watching sports?
I'm wearing, like, a velvet frock.
I don't want to.
Ever into sports?
Or were they, like, on? Like, did your parents watch sports?
My, like, interaction with pop culture is really interesting. So, like, when I was born in 1990, we spent a few years, like, with my dad, and I was, like, the soundtrack at the time was, like, Steve Miller's band and the Cranberries, and we used to play Donkey Kong Country and, like, all the classic, like, early 90s tropes.
Nice.
And then my parents broke up, and we moved to a different town. And that was like the late 90s. I don't really remember much from that time. But when my dad came back into the picture, my mom chose to move us back in with our father in the town I grew up in, which is Cranbrook, BC. We're both small town BC babes. But we didn't have running water, electricity. So we didn't really have television.
Holy shit.
So it wasn't, we could watch on the occasion where we did watch something, it was a movie. Was never like in the moment sports or that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. If I was at my grandma's, I was watching Young and the Restless, All My Children, Port Charles, because General Hospital sucked, but Port Charles fucked. Can I say fuck on this podcast?
Sure.
Great. Port Charles fucked. I don't know if you know what Port Charles is. I don't know
Port Charles.
So General Hospital exists in the town Port Charles, and the spinoff was a 30-minute spinoff. I think it was on air for a very short amount of time, but it was about angels and vampires.
Whoa.
And it was lit.
Whoa.
Yeah. The theme song was Sweet Dreams by the Eurythmics. It was lit.
Oh my god.
Anyway, look it up. So we never saw anything live action. So like when it came to sports or SNL was like over my head.
Okay.
All I got was like the SNL movies.
Oh, right.
You know, like Night at the Roxbury and Superstar, which I watched till the end of the world. I will watch that movie. That movie is incredible.
Superstar?
Yeah.
I need to see that. I haven't seen that in ages.
We rented it from... We never went to Blockbuster. We only went to Rogers Video. We rented it 3 weeks in a row until it was banned from our house.
I had movies like that where it would just every time I would rent that movie. Yeah.
Why wouldn't you rent that movie?
My siblings would be like, why?
What was it? What was your movie?
Oh, well, for a while when I was really young, it was this like Don Bluth animation called Happily Ever After.
I'm not sure what.
And yeah, nobody is. It's a Snow White sequel.
Okay.
And it's not Disney though, and it's where Snow White meets the 7 dwarf elves, girl dwarfs. And they all have powers, these girl dwarfs.
Of course they do.
I actually
Again,
have it on
90s
DVD.
Feminism.
Somewhere in there, but it doesn't really hold up. It's crazy. But the voices in it are Phyllis Diller,
As a dwarf
Zsa
elf?
Zsa Gabor. Yes.
What?
Actually, Phyllis Diller plays Mother Nature.
Happily Ever After. You have it on TV.
I gotta.
Yeah, you gotta find it. You gotta find this one.
Oh, come on.
Okay, I want to read off some stanzas of. Oh, I've seen this movie.
Carol Channing.
Oh, I've seen this
Tracy
movie.
Ullman. We could show the cover.
Zsa Zsa Malcolm McDonald, Sally Kellerman, Tracy Ullman as
Thunderella.
Thunderella. I've definitely seen this.
Yeah,
movie.
I'm sure. Like,
I hated
it.
it.
It's bad. It's bad. And there's this little bat guy.
Oh,
I can't remember. Yeah, and like the prince gets put under this spell.
There are certain.
I think she has to save the prince. You know,
The
it's
animation's was too intense for me. This and All Dogs Go to Heaven and Five Will Go West, for some reason, can't do it.
It's weird. It's something off about it.
Yeah, it's like they were trying to be Shrek, but Shrek hadn't paved the way yet.
For sure. What year did this come out? 1990.
What?
Yeah, I don't know. I found it. But okay, then I'll tell you when I was like a little bit older, but maybe like 9 years old. I rented the First Wives Club a lot.
Oh, go off. Yeah.
Yeah. Like
You were like, no.
I was like, these women. I get it.
That's amazing. Actually, who was I talking to recently? I was talking to someone, and we were talking about Kathy Bates in Misery.
Oh.
And how dare you?
I'm so sorry.
Your podcast.
I had the sound on so I could hear the buzzer when you came in.
Ah, yes, of course. We were talking about Misery, and I was like, this character is so dear to me. Like, I watched Misery when I was 10 years old, and they were like, what? How did you watch Misery when you were 10? And I was like, yeah, and I read the book when I was 11. And my friend was like, what? How did... And I was like, I started reading Stephen King books when I was 11 years old because I was obsessed with them. My mom loved horror movies. I currently do not like horror, but I know the entire back catalog.
Wow.
Which is wild. But my friend was like, how could you read that book at 11? She literally cuts his feet off in the book. And I was like, the sick part, when I read the book, I stopped liking the movie because I felt like she should have cut his feet off in the movie. It's just a better story.
But what she does in the movie with the hammer,
it's disturbing visual effects.
Oof,
but it would have been
so
even
powerful.
more disturbing to watch her saw off his feet and then torch them.
For true.
That would have been
sure.
way more disturbing. But it also would have been less Oscar worthy.
Yeah, that's a different movie. Then it becomes horror, like instead of thriller.
Yeah, because also in the book she like drives over the sheriff's head with a lawnmower.
Whoa.
Yeah, the book is fantastic.
Yeah, I'm always like, I'm like, I want to get into Stephen King, but then I'm like, is it too scary? I'll be too scared.
I mean, if you haven't seen the movie Dolores Claiborne with Kathy Bates and Jennifer Jason Leigh, you absolutely have to.
Okay, I have not.
It is about a woman who kills her husband during a solar eclipse.
Why during a solar eclipse? I can't.
I'm not going to explain it to you because you absolutely have to watch it because the way the story... Stephen King claims it as his favorite story he's ever written.
Wow.
And from a movie standpoint is considered a great... It's like a gothic noir film and one of the only true like feminist tales.
Amazing.
Yeah, because most of the interactions, the men are absolutely useless and the women are full of power and have all the secrets and control the men in a very unique and feminist way.
Yeah, Stephen King he knows how to write a woman.
He does know how to write a woman. I think, he's been married for a long time.
Yeah. But that's not always
the case. But I feel like the way he talks about his wife and the way he has fought off the evils of J.K. Rowling in the literary world, he's quite adept to, like, what it means to love women.
He's a cool guy.
Yeah. When he started fighting J.K. Rowling, I was like, this is why I've loved you my whole life.
That's amazing. I don't remember that he fought.
Yeah. He led part of the petition, and he did the power of tweeted against her.
Yeah. Well, I mean, all she does is tweet, and that's done a lot of damage.
Totally. Nightmare.
Yeah. Someone said, I can't take credit for this, but they're like, think about, like, the writer of The Hunger Games. What does she think about trans people? We don't know. She keeps her mouth shut.
T. That's T. Also, Suzanne Collins. I don't know. I don't think she would say anything.
Probably not.
No, she's already political.
Yeah. True.
Right? Yeah. And some people, like, especially when you're an author and you just write about political concepts and things like that, I don't think you need to...
We kind of know where you stand.
Yeah.
True.
She's like, I mean, even on the topic of the Hunger Games, my mind was blown when she let Katniss kill the leader of the rebels. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
That part in the book, like, stunned me. Because obviously, like, Snow was going to die, but killing the woman leader was wild to me.
Yeah.
But it's true. It would have just been a different era, same evil kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people don't like the last Hunger Games book. I didn't think it was, like, that bad.
I was pretty pissed that they killed Rue.
Oh, for sure.
And that they didn't do it or not Rue, sorry, her sister.
Oh, yes.
Primrose. Primrose. I just felt like they didn't do that in a way that I would have liked.
No, they shouldn't have done that.
No.
Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh, okay. So, sorry.
No, that's okay.
Do you have a segue? Do you have something you want to... Okay, great. Because I was in the car on the way over here, and Tiny Dancer came on the radio. And I was like, oh, this is so great. It brings up, Almost Famous, like, which you have on your wall.
Yeah.
And I was like, what I wouldn't give to hear that song for the first time again. True. And I was like, what are some other songs that, like, tore me up when I first heard them? Ooh. And I want to hear your answers.
Oh, God.
You could hear the song for the first time again.
Yes. Okay.
Let's break it down into, like, oldies and newies.
Okay, I have some newies.
Okay.
Rolling in the Deep by Adele.
That drum?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. That drum makes you just want to get up.
We could have had it all. Oh, it's so powerful.
Her voice. Yeah, good call.
Yes. Another one, for some reason this song always, like, has been, like, very, like, a little bit chilling to me. Stay by Rihanna. Okay, I'm like, I don't know if people feel the same way, but for that, like, piano, I've always loved it.
It's a beautiful song and was kind of different for her.
Yes.
Which makes sense.
Yes.
The one for me, oh God, I can't believe I'm going to say this.
I can't wait.
Okay. Born This Way by Lady Gaga. Just sent me.
Yeah.
I heard it and I was like, anything's possible. Let's get our gay asses moving.
Yes.
That was the vibe.
It's great. Yeah. On that note, like, even, like, Bad Romance by Lady Gaga was, like, that was a cultural reset. No, I hate that.
Whoa, actually,
no,
I think
Born This Way was a cultural
reset, and so was Poker Face.
Oh, yeah. It's so funny, because Poker Face is great, but I remember, I think I was in high school when it came out, and, like, she was, like, weird, but we were also like, what is this? Like,
I remember my gay friend who lived in Vancouver sent me a CD in the mail. Well, it was either a CD or I burnt it onto a CD because he emailed me the track. Nice. But he sent me Born This Way and Just Dance and was like, you need to listen to these songs. Oh and I just remember hearing them and something clicked in my brain.
Yeah.
Gay. Yeah. I had probably just come out too because I think those songs came out the like summer of 2008, which is when I came out. So it was like,
oh my God,
I was like, here we go.
Yeah, that's powerful.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
But before that Lady Gaga era, like what set the way for her was Nelly Furtado.
True.
That really strong era. And Gwen Stefani's Sweet Escape era.
Oh, yeah.
Which was fierce.
Gwen Stefani's, like, first 2 solo albums were, like, so good. She was so good, like, in her bag.
Yeah. 4 a.m. sent me. Sweet Escape sent me.
Sweet Escape was so good. And, God, the first one, What You Waiting For?
Right. Yes.
That was good.
Cool.
Cool. Okay, that's one that I love. It's like I don't even have that thing that I can relate after all that we've been through. I know we're cool. Like I haven't been through a long relationship like that where it's like we're meeting after all these years. But for some reason, it makes me cry.
You're just imagining what it would feel like.
Yeah, it's beautiful storytelling.
Yeah, I don't argue with that. It is beautiful storytelling. Period.
Yeah.
Okay, oldies. Old songs.
It's hard.
Mine would be Dancing in the Dark by Bruce Springsteen.
Ooh.
I would love to hear that song for the first time again.
That's good.
Yeah, absolutely.
God. I'm blanking. I'm like, what are old songs that I love?
Well, anything by the Spice Girls.
Anything by the Spice, sure, yeah. I was thinking like Whitney Houston too.
Oh.
I want to dance with somebody.
Mm-hmm. Whitney was never in my home growing up.
Yeah, honestly, me neither, really.
We had Cher growing up. Cher was huge in our house, and also in the late 90s, we also had Amanda Marshall.
Oh, yeah. I've recently gone back to, what, If I Didn't Have You? She had a great voice. What happened to her?
Yeah, what did happen to her? Amanda Marshall, if you're listening to this, we'd like to interview you.
Yeah, come on the pod.
Come on over, Dark Horse. What else? So we didn't have Whitney, but Whitney is something we found later in life.
Definitely.
The Call by the Backstreet Boys, if I could hear that for the first time again.
Oh, yeah, that's...
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I was thinking, like, oldies.
I mean, we could go oldies.
But, Beautiful by Christina Aguilera. No, I know. No, because then I was thinking like, oh, like 70s, 80s, and then I was like, oh, I could just go like me growing up. What did I like? I don't know. Do you remember? Okay, there was like a lot of music videos and songs like Beautiful or like Unpretty by TLC. They were all about like just empowerment, and like they played those videos so much. I feel like there was more, or there was a lot of just like very serious subject matter. I think I've talked about this on the podcast before, where there'd be like songs about like Stole by Kelly Rowland. Mm-hmm. It was like songs about kids dying. It's like
Waterfalls, which has a verse about like dying of HIV AIDS.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like seriousness that's like, pop music is one of those wonderful things. It's like a beautiful wrapper for serious topics, and those songs sometimes will be like, oh, this song means so much to me, but it's like it's got this like deep cultural significance that maybe passes us by a little bit.
For sure. Mm-hmm. Especially, yeah, something like Waterfalls, like you don't think about, you just think about the hook.
You just think about the hook. Don't go chasing waterfalls. What does it mean?
To please stick to the rivers and the lakes that you're used to. It means don't explore.
Do not make treacherous journeys.
Stick to what you know. It's stick to the status quo.
Yeah, I'm not a philosopher. What else have you been consuming, like television wise?
Okay, so I just moved, and in my move I had like 2 days without internet, so I
Gross.
But it was like fine. So like I have DVDs.
Yeah,
so
you have tons.
I went back into One Tree Hill.
Yeah. I was like, was it One Tree?
Yeah, it was One Tree. And so then I got internet, but then I was hooked back on One Tree Hill. So I watched seasons 3 and 4 of One Tree Hill in like a week. And have you ever watched?
No, I wasn't a One Tree Hill fan. I was I also never watched the OC. I was too much on the Gilmore Girls train.
Oh, I love Gilmore Girls.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
But like, I feel like it's the antithesis of those shows in a lot of ways.
It's less like
there's less happening for sure.
Drama.
Yeah.
One Tree Hill is like so bad but so good, and it's if you've never watched it, I can't really. There's so much that's going on. So season 3, like they do all the classic teen drama things, but then in season 3 they do like a school shooting episode, and it's so intense. And I was like sitting here just like sobbing, and because I live alone now, this is my first time living alone, so I was just like, no, and just crying. But then I just want to say, like, after that episode, the whole show goes crazy because you're like, where do you go from a school shooting?
Yeah.
So like they just like bring in this new character who's like a cheerleader, and then she's like doing a Maxim photo shoot. But then there's like the Fallout Boy does a guest thing, and then Pete from Fallout Boy is dating one of the girls.
No.
And then it's like, what is happening?
That's super problematic, knowing what we know sort of about these pop punk bands and how they treat fans and things like
stuff?
that.
Yeah.
That's just reinforcing, like, you can do this.
For sure. And then, but I'm also, so the 3 main lead actresses from One Tree Hill are doing like a recap podcast. And
fun.
It's super fun to listen to because they also had like a really bad time. They're like, it was a pretty toxic environment on that show, and so they like really get into it. And then they have moments where like, oh, I love this scene, like this is actually so good, but then they have moments where like, this is bad, what is going on? So I'm like, okay, they're really getting into it. Whereas I also listen to the OC recap podcast, and they get into it, but they never like call it bad.
I wonder if the people in the OC want a reunion more than the people in One Tree Hill.
I don't think so.
No?
Which is funny. Like the actors on One Tree Hill seem to all actually still be friends, whereas I don't think the OC cast is in contact with each other.
That's sad.
I know.
That's so sad.
It's weird. Yeah.
I also see you have The Simple Life. Is that season 1?
That's season 1. I honestly haven't really watched that in a long time, but I can't get rid of it.
No, you. I mean, that's a. If you just keep it around, you're not gonna rewatch it. But like a lot of reality TV that we watch today owes everything it has to that show.
Oh yeah, they were so funny. Paris and Nicole, like they got so much shit for being dumb, but I'm like, they leaned into it.
They put that on. They were told to put that on. And what I love about the Paris Hilton Renaissance that we have is she's just like very upfront about it.
Yeah.
I stand her back then, and I stand her even harder now.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I listen to her podcast every week.
Oh, really?
Absolutely.
Nice.
Your podcast, her podcast, and the Office Ladies.
Oh my God, what great company.
Have you watched The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City?
Yes.
Gina. Gina. It is Saturday. Right now, we are recording, which means tomorrow we get part 1 of the reunion for season 2.
Oh my God.
And
I haven't actually fully caught up.
Season 2 has been an absolute mess.
Yes.
They fight every episode. Every season, there has been a glass thrown.
Yes.
Last week, Jenny threw a glass at Mary Cosby.
Okay.
And Mary just stood there with her mouth agape, ran away screaming, "There's a crazy person throwing things in there!" And then as she was leaving, she was like, "No one came to ask me if I was okay. Really makes me wonder who my real friends are."
Oh.
And then left.
Oh my God.
And is not going to the reunion.
Mary has to be there.
Just for the drama. But the problem is that she's a rotted human being. Oh.
Yeah.
I feel really bad saying that on the podcast, but like, she's so mean.
Yeah, no, she's awful. But like also like a great character for television.
So
Holy
good.
shit.
She forces everything.
Yeah.
She was like, oh, that's the direction the mood's going? I'm going to go the other way.
Yeah.
And it's just good. It's just good.
What is that when she like comes in and she's like talking about how somebody died? And she's like, yeah, they just... What did she say?
Yeah, she's like, oh, someone in my congregation
church
died, and they're like, are you okay? And she's like, yeah, it's fine. Like, it was just a decapitation on the overpass. So, what's for lunch?
Yeah, and then the kids are there, and they're like, ah.
Yeah, children. Children. And they're like, are you okay? And she's like, yeah, it's fine. It's no one I cared about. Just
oh my god,
people who pay my bills.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, hilarious.
Also like the true crime aspect of like watching Jen Shaw get arrested, but then also like continue to spend money while she's like, we have to cut corners. It's like, girl, what?
It's like, how is this?
Also, Whitney Rose's like white girl spiritual vibe just devastates me. Devastates me.
Yeah.
I don't think she understands how bad that is.
I don't even.
They're all bad.
Know.
They're all bad.
But that's the thing, like, that's why we watch the Real Housewives. We want them to be bad.
100%.
Yeah.
Can I say something political again?
Yeah, please.
So in the last episode, there was this huge scene where the Marks family like goes out into the desert to do this photo shoot for Meredith Marks jewelry. Yeah. And they hire Glad, and so they have like drag queens, they have trans people and non-binary people, and it's very beautiful and it's really fun, and it's great because it gives Brooks sort of this opportunity to like be there. We like Brooks hasn't come out or anything, but there have been like allegations and lots of really rude things said about his sexuality and all these things from Jen Shaw, a cast member. She just liked some tweets. But you see this like family come together and just be like, be who you want to be, and like really great, and it's like so inspiring. Next scene, you see his dad wearing a Ronald Reagan t-shirt.
Oh.
Who like let the gays die during the AIDS epidemic.
Wow.
Because they go to an 80s party and he's like, what's more 80s than the Reagan presidency?
This is just tone deaf.
Yeah, like incredibly so. You haven't watched that episode yet, but now when you watch it, you're going to be like, oh.
I really need to catch up. I've let the Housewives fall to the wayside. I got to get back in.
I do not watch any other version. There's something about how all of these women carry such strong characters in just who they are that I am fully invested.
You don't watch any other like city, you mean?
No.
Okay.
No. I also have a friend who's watched all of them and is like, you don't have to. Just watch Salt Lake. It gives you everything.
It's true. Like, I didn't really watch it, and then I've only recently last year, I was like, I'll try and watch some. And I'm like, it's hard to start like a season of a new, like they've been going for 10 seasons in like Atlanta. So I'm like, and you don't really have to watch the last season to know what's going on, but you kind of do. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't, but then there's a lot of drama that you can be missing.
When it compounds, you almost have to follow, because like drama with these women like compounds, and so you don't know when they start fighting about nothing what's going to come up from the past.
Yeah, exactly.
And the show does an okay job of like giving you a flashback,
always.
But like you gotta watch it all happen.
Yeah, to really care. Although I did get into Beverly Hills. That's the only one I got
interesting
into. I started with, I think, season 10, because it was when Denise Richards was on it, and it hooked me.
I think that's probably another reason why I don't just like watch any of the other ones, because I was like, I don't want to.
You don't want to get into all of them.
There's so much to watch.
So it could be the only thing you watch.
And I'm already like a disgusting binger. So like if I'm going to binge, I'm just going to watch The Office again.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Not these women just being mindless. and fighting. It's drama. It makes me anxious.
True. Yeah. I'm with you there. Like, I'll just rewatch Gilmore Girls or
something fluffy, but something that people put a lot of effort and artistry into.
Yes. Although this is an offshoot about Gilmore Girls.
Here for it.
This was pointed out to me from a TikTok, how the coffee cups are always empty. Lorelai is just
sloshing around
with that coffee cup. And now when I watch it, or they'll have like a tray of like 4 coffees, but they're like holding it with one hand like this. And it's like, there's nothing in those cups.
Oh no.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Now you won't watch it the same.
I actually haven't done a rewatch of that in a long time, so maybe it's time. It just makes me really emotional.
Yeah, it is.
It just sends me.
It also like, this is like, Randy was saying this. She's like, if I start Gilmore Girls, I won't be able to stop.
Yeah, no.
And she's like, you can't start it again because then it'll be the only thing, it'll consume me.
Yeah. There's certain shows that are like that. Gilmore Girls is one, The Office is another, Parks and Rec is another. You can't just you can't just watch an episode and be like, cool, good. If I watch a random episode of The Office, like from wherever it is, I just let that autoplay keep going. Nice.
Yeah, because I haven't really watched all of The Office, and I really should.
Yeah, that's a again in the realm of like things I wish I could do again. Like I watched it when it was on TV, so I enjoyed that. But like I would die to watch The Office for the first time again. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. What are some movies you would watch for the first time again?
Ooh, The First Wives Club.
Yeah, work. Goldie Hawn's in that, right?
Yes.
Have I ever told you that I met Goldie Hawn?
No.
Yeah, so I worked at Sephora downtown Vancouver, and it was late-ish one night. Like it was like an hour to closing, and someone walked in, and someone called it out as like a potential just person to watch, because she just looked a little bit shady, and so we just wanted. And our store was like full of theft, and it was crazy, and so someone called it out, and I was like looking at this person, and I was like, I'm pretty sure that's Goldie Hawn. I'm pretty sure it's Goldie Hawn. And then,
she was just like in disguise.
Yeah, she was just wasn't wearing makeup, and like she was like in like Lululemon pants and just like whatever, just a casual top. Yeah. And I was like, oh, and like a big baggy purse. I was like, oh my god, I'm pretty sure that's Goldie Hawn. And over the headset, this young person that worked there was like, oh my god, I think that's Kate Hudson's mom. No! As if Goldie Hawn is defined by Kate Hudson. And I was literally got on the headset. I was like, her name is Goldie Hawn. Okay? I was pissed. But then I walked over and I was like, hey, is there anything you need help with? And she was like, no, I'm okay. And I was like, just so you know, like, your work has impacted my life so beautifully, and just thank you so much. I just love you so much. And she was like, thanks, dear. And I was like, have a nice night. She's like, you too. And I was like, because like the Banger Sisters was my jam.
Oh my god, I've never seen that. I need to watch it.
Yeah, that's a good one to watch. Nice. That's a great. Anyone listening to this, if you haven't seen the Banger Sisters, is amazing. It's Goldie Hawn and Susan Sarandon. They used to be groupies who banged a bunch of guys, and they have this picture collection called the Rock Cock Collection, because they took Polaroids of all these rock stars' dicks.
That's great.
But then Susan Sarandon like gets married and becomes like hoity-toity and uptight, and then obviously Goldie Hawn comes back around and it's like, yo girl, let's get wild. She's like, I have kids. But the kids love her, obviously.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, they could do a sequel of that today. Yeah. That would be great. It's quite feminist.
I quite enjoyed that, actually, thinking back on it.
I need to watch it. I think when it came out, the Polaroids sound familiar, but I'm like, maybe that was in the trailer. But I think I was like young, and where I was like judging it, and I was like, it's
maybe
these older women
being loose.
Yeah, what is this? It's scary. I don't know. Like, I feel like when you're like 12 to 16, you like you have these preconceived notions, and you're like, I'm not gonna Do it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go further into that.
I found the Banger Sisters because I was on a Susan Sarandon tear. I had watched, as a big Julia Roberts fan, my favorite movie in the whole entire world is Pretty Woman. Ooh. So I'd watched Stepmom or whatever it is.
I love
Stepmom.
that. I love that movie.
And then I was like, oh, Susan Sarandon, talented. Then I watched the Banger Sisters and I was like, work.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nice. Oh, Susan Sarandon, she's good.
She's great.
Who's that young?
She is great. And both her and I are burners. We go to Burning Man, so.
Wow.
Yeah.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I went twice.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
You can't ungo. That's one of the things about Burning Man. Once you've done been gone. No, it was fucking wild.
It's yeah. Honestly, like the whole thing to me, I feel like I don't want to ever go. But
it was 10 years ago.
It sounds like a crazy place.
It was 10 years ago. Oh God, I just turned 32. So I went when I was 22 and 23. That's a different time to be alive. Yes. And I don't think I could do it. I slept in a tent on the ground for 10 days.
Oh, yeah.
Just to experience naked bodies, orgies, dust, giant fires.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not a music festival.
No, it's an arts festival, so it has everything.
Festival. So I mean, there is like.
Oh my God, there's huge stages, and
right.
like.
But it's
But people don't get to go for free. That's the thing, right? So if like
doesn't it sell out like crazy?
It does, and people like Tiesto, if they're playing at the festival, someone still has to pay for their ticket.
Oh. Mm-hmm. Oh, artists don't get to go for free.
No, and they don't get paid to go.
Okay.
Because there's no exchange of funds. It's a gifting society. Because like on top of being an arts festival, it's also an experiment in alternate society.
Yes.
Yeah. So it has like a set of values and all those things.
And that's why there's like Burning Man people.
Yes.
So they're like, that I want to live like that all the time.
Yes. Most are like anti-capitalist, anti-establishment, those sorts of things. Yeah.
Got it.
You can't wear clothing that has logos on it.
Oh.
You have to change the logo so it's discernibly different.
Right.
Yeah. And if you like drive like a budget truck into Burning Man, you have to use masking tape to like change it.
Oh my God.
To be something different or just cover it completely. Because it's decommodification is one of the values.
Cool.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Go off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go off, Burning Man.
Met some really cool people. Yeah. And there was always like, it was wild to think back. Like there's moments now where I listen to people talk like, oh, I was at Burning Man in this year and I did this thing. And I was like, I fucking did that year.
Yeah.
What? Yeah.
It's so weird. Yeah. To think of, that age. Like, I think that's when I like lived in Australia when I was like 21.
Cool.
And I mean, it was when I think back on it now, but it's weird. It doesn't feel like my life. I'm like, I lived in Australia and I went like skydiving. I'm like, would I ever do that?
No, because you did it.
Yeah.
No, you wouldn't do it again because you did it.
Yeah, good point.
Of course not. No, that's who you are.
Right.
But you've done it.
But I've done it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta do it again.
Exactly.
Why you gotta jump out of a plane twice?
No, exactly.
Once is enough.
I tried it. I could say I did it.
Yeah. That's so interesting. But yeah, one of those things is like those things that we do when we're younger never leave us. And as we get older, I get farther and farther from being capable of doing those things again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which I think is, not to tie it back to the podcast theme, but which is why I think pop culture is so important, because pop culture like punctuates moments in our lives.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just looking at your DVD collection is literally like just absolutely chaos. There's a stanza over there that goes Legally Blonde 1 and 2, Little Miss Sunshine, Mamma Mia, Mean Girls, Spice World. What's that?
Okay, right before Little Miss Sunshine is the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Okay. Okay. Spice World, Talladega Nights, which is iconic.
It's funny. I rewatched it last year and I was like, I didn't like laugh as hard, but it's still great.
It's great.
Yeah.
When it came out, talk about comedy culture reset, Talladega Nights.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
You also have The Devil Wears Prada.
Terms of Endearment. That one makes me cry a lot.
Is that Dumb and Dumber next to Uptown Girls? No.
Wow, no, I don't. It's Wedding Crashers. Excuse me, it's not Dumb and Dumber, it's Wedding Crashers.
Not a big difference between those two movies, Gina. But Uptown Girls, thank you for having that. That's one of my top 5 favorite movies ever.
It's beautiful. That I would love to rewatch for the first time again.
When they come out with the guitars at the end and they sing her dad's song.
Oh my god, it's so beautiful.
Molly Smiles.
Yeah.
Oh, her pig. Dakota Fanning is unreal in that film.
She should have had a child Oscar nomination. They should have child Oscars.
It would have been her versus Abigail Breslin in Little Miss Sunshine.
Yes.
And Haley Steinfeld in
True Grit.
True Grit. Yeah.
Anna Paquin won.
That's right.
Did you have you watched her speech?
No.
Oh my god, it's the cutest, but like, so like she gets up on stage and she's like 11, I think, and she's literally, it takes her like 30 seconds to get a word out. She's like and she's wearing this cute little like sparkly beret.
10 out of 10. Gonna look that up.
Yeah, you gotta.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you also have Josie and the Pussycat Dolls. John Tucker Must Die.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
She's the Man, obviously. The 2 Blu-rays you have are Disney Cinderella, the one with Lily James, and
no, it's not the one with Lily James. It's the animated one.
No.
I got it for Christmas.
Okay, but you got Beauty and the Beast. Is that the original?
Yeah, the animated one.
Okay. Not the Emma Watson one.
No, I didn't. I liked the Lily James Cinderella. I didn't really like the.
I didn't like either of them.
Yeah, I mean they're just carbon copies. I mean the Cinderella one they changed a little bit, but I'm like Beauty and the Beast. I feel like it's just the same.
Yeah.
As the animated movie, I was like, what's the point of this?
No change.
Yeah.
I mean, why mess with perfection? I guess.
I mean, it's great.
Perfect.
It
Yeah.
is.
Sorry, I almost lost my mind here because you have Practical Magic on DVD.
Mm-hmm. That's
a bomb at the box office, but like a #1 in my heart.
It's I think a cult favorite now.
It is one of the best witch movies ever made.
It's so good.
Yes.
I just watched it last year with my roommate at the time. They had never seen it, and like I had like put it on. I was watching it myself, and they were kind of like, "What is this? Mind if I watch?" And then they watched the whole thing, and they were like, "Wow."
Yeah, because it's incredible.
Yeah,
it's incredible. Yeah. And I did so much research on it because I was like, why is this so incredible, but why did it not succeed? Mm-hmm. And one of the reasons why it didn't succeed was because Nicole Kidman and Sandra Bullock didn't really do that genre of film before. And so it was hard for people to get the buy-in, and also it wasn't like the Craft, where it was like a War of Witches horror thing.
Yeah, I think it probably would have been hard to market because it's like it's not really horror. It's more about just like this sisterly bond, and they're witches. They happen to be witches.
And yeah, I mean they could have leaned on the fact that all of the soundtrack is Stevie Nicks music.
Yeah,
and apparently Nicole Kidman went straight off of Eyes Wide Shut into filming this, which Eyes Wide Shut was like a 2-year filming process. And she had like maybe 5 days in between filming, which is why her performance is at an 11 the whole movie.
It's intense.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's super intense in it.
Yeah.
Nicole Kidman in the 90s. I mean, she's still a fantastic. She's one of the best actresses that we have, for sure.
Period.
Exactly. Period. But like, yeah, I just recently watched To Die For the first time.
What is that one
about? It's like she's like this like weather girl, but she's like kind of, I can't even really describe it. She has this. She's like trying to blackmail somebody. Now I'm like, what is it about? I don't remember.
The best movies, no plot.
No. But I don't know. She's like just kind of crazy, and she has this weird relationship with like a teenage Joaquin Phoenix. That's what it's about. That's
Whoa.
Anyway, she did some weird, intense movies. Intense
She did.
performances.
She did. Yeah, she absolutely did. The Stepford Wives.
Oh,
Did you have that on DVD?
no, I don't. I haven't seen that since it came out.
Yeah, that movie was wild.
Yeah.
That had Glenn Close in it. That was great.
Oh, wow.
That was a great film.
I should watch that again, too. Gotta write a list.
Things to make a list for. You also have The Secret Life of Walter Mitty on Blu-ray.
That one, Randy pointed this out. We were like sitting here watching movies. She's like, it's weird that you have that just because
it doesn't fit anything else.
It's the newest movie. Like everything that I have probably came out before 2010. Whereas that came out like because it's like there was a point where we stopped buying DVDs. We were like,
Easy A was the last DVD we bought. That's what it feels like from this collection.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
The podcast has now devolved into us just looking at your DVD collection, but I think it's because we have very similar tastes in what we like pop culture wise, which is probably why I love your podcast so much.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Well, yeah. So what's okay. I'm like, where are we at for time here? I don't know.
We've been doing this for at least 4 hours now.
For sure.
Minimum.
Okay. Well, let's like try and wrap up. I like didn't think of any questions.
That's completely fine.
We'll try and think of questions to end it on.
We're being filmed, so people are gonna see your process now.
You can edit.
When you were like, when you were like, we're gonna film now. I was like,
she's gonna be on it.
Yeah, 10 out of 10, planned out. No, it's fine. It's great.
Yeah, it's okay. We don't have to end with questions.
Because it's filmed, they could edit us completely out and put other people here. Yeah.
What?
Why not? You should get a green screen and do this style.
Oh my god, that would be brilliant.
I'm really loving your cute apartment setup.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, this is, I think, like, we'll eventually move to a studio, but this is
good for now.
Where we'll start.
Gorgeous.
Exactly. Yeah, thank you. Okay, well, we'll just, we'll wrap it up. We'll say thank you so much for being here. Oh, no, I have to talk about the last time I saw you, the Taylor Swift Cabaret.
Yeah. Yes, the Taylor Swift Cabaret.
Taylor Swift re-released her Red album.
Yes.
You did 2 full nights of shows.
Yes.
At the Wallflower.
Yeah. It was... You were there. You witnessed it.
It was amazing.
It was... It went for a very long time.
Yeah.
It was originally supposed to be an hour. Tight little hour. It went for easily 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
Nonstop.
I mean, I wasn't there the first night, but you told me like the first night they were literally like, don't stop.
They were like, if you stop, we will burn this place to the ground. To the point where there were so many TikToks that were made about that night. I shared one of them and it got like 200,000 views.
For sure.
And I was like, oh, wow. And it was all because this is my favorite story ever.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, well, what song do you want me to see me perform? Because at this point, I had nothing was planned.
Right.
After 2 hours, it's all out the window.
Yeah.
And this girl, blood-curdling, screamed, "Long Live!" which is a song from Taylor Swift's Speak Now record. And I was like, oh my God, I've always wanted to perform that, but it's never appropriate in a club setting or in a high energy setting. And so I was like, okay, sure, I'll do Long Live. And it started, and I looked over at her, and she was literally in a full tilt breakdown white girl cry. Losing. Yeah, she was like, ah! And I walked over and I was like, I know it's COVID. Can I hug you? And she was like, yes. And she just we sobbed into each other's arms, and it was that crying where you can feel someone crying.
Yeah.
And then as soon as the lyrics started on the song, I could hear her screaming the lyrics. And I was like, okay, honey, just enjoy the moment now. Let's go.
Oh my God, that's beautiful.
Taylor Swift is one of those wonderful, wonderful things that just makes people feel happy. It makes people feel excited. Mm-hmm. And I think that if you don't like Taylor Swift, that you are a victim of misogyny in a way that I don't need to explain. Just go on Swift Talk and they'll explain it to you.
Honestly. Yeah. Yeah. There's
a lot of Taylor Swift hate that is still reverberating from the Kanye West discourse that I think is it's a bit damaging internally for people.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and like, regardless of how you feel about who she is as a person, I'm like, just listen to her music. She makes good music.
T. And if you don't like her music, maybe you'll find something about her charming, because I was listening to this podcast. It's called Every Single Album. And they basically take an artist and they just make a podcast episode about every single one of their albums and then move on to the next artist.
Oh, wow.
And they did the Taylor Swift one, and I listened to the 1989 episode, and the gentleman who was running the podcast, I never learned the men's names because it's not important.
Not interesting.
Not normally, no. But he said that he was working at Twitter at the time, and that he was invited to her house with a bunch of like social media people to talk about the album.
Yes.
And when he got there, he didn't actually expect that she would be there, and he also didn't know that he was going to her home. And so when he walked in the door, she was there, and he said that he froze up, and she was like, "Do you want a hug?"
Aww.
And he was like, I watched her hug all of the media people who were there. Yeah. And he's like, it's almost as if she knows that she's Taylor Swift, and to disarm people so that she can just have like a human interaction and really make someone's day, she just hugs them.
Aww.
And I was like, I've seen video of her hugging a lot of fans.
For sure. I love that. Because it's true, like, even if you're like, I don't like this celebrity, if you saw this like massive worldwide pop star in person, you would be like, oh
yeah,
what?
Yeah, because she's probably quite normal in ways that we can't even imagine.
Yeah. What's your favorite Taylor Swift album?
Oh, it's so difficult because we're being reintroduced to them
for sure
in a way that an artist has never done before, in reintroducing them and being like, just so you know, there's other songs that go along with the story.
It's cool.
And so obviously, like, for me, Red sent me when I was younger, and I was just like, oh my god, this feels like me. I'm also the same age as Taylor Swift, so when 22 came out, I was like, I'm 22.
Yeah.
Also went to Burning Man, so like there's a lot there for me. 1989 was incredible. In terms of sonically, it was something I'd never heard before, and I listened to a lot of music, so 1989 holds a special place. Yeah. But like, there's something about Folklore that is mystical, that just like is like a maturation of Red and 1989 for me.
Okay. Nice.
It just, I don't know. I hate saying Folklore because
it's so new.
It's so new, but it is so extraordinarily beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it does feel weird saying something like really new is like your favorite, but if you've listened to it so much, like I've
clearly listened to all the other ones as I performed Long Live in a lip sync flawlessly.
Right, at a moment's notice.
Literally, on the drop of a dime, baby, long live.
Speak Now was like probably when I became like a full Taylor Swift fan. That was my favorite. I had the CD in my car, and I would just like sing it like top to bottom.
For my family, country music was like a slightly gauche, and so I did hear things from Fearless, obviously, because that is what made it onto Much Music. So like, I was seeing You Belong With Me and Love Story and all those things, but it wasn't something that I didn't know the words to Hey Stephen like I do now.
Yeah.
You know? And yeah, so it was a different time, definitely, for like my exposure, because my parents were kind of like, there's a little bit of when you're living with your parents, you know, they feed you pop culture in ways that
you don't even realize.
Yeah. Like my older brother, when I turned 13, gave me a Kylie Minogue CD and was like, this is good pop music. Don't ever stray.
Wow.
I don't really like Kylie Minogue.
Okay.
But I can't tell him that. But that album, that was Love at First Sight, and that album slaps.
I was going to say, like, she is like, I feel like, because she's not as big here.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's pop music. I'm like, she's like a pop music legend.
How did my hetero brother find this song though? Like,
I love that.
Yeah, it's pretty great. It's a good memory. I was like, I'll stick to Cher. Thank you. I was like, just like Jesse James is way better than anything Kylie Minogue would ever do.
Oh my god. That's so funny. I obviously like knew who Cher was, but I didn't really know her music until like Believe came out, and then that was like the first auto tune, and we were all like, "What is this?"
Yeah, and it was so expertly done.
It's a banger.
Yeah, that song. I did some DJing for Calgary Pride last year, and that song, when you play that first opening, like, everyone's just like it's like the gay antenna inside everyone's brain is just like.
Oh, I actually I have saved your playlist, your Pride playlist.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was lit. It was just like, it's everything that you love. It's the Venga Boys. It's the Spice Girls. Yeah. Jesse McCartney leaving.
Ooh. We love it.
Yeah, it's so good. Sometimes when I'm DJing, I'll be like, oh, Beautiful Soul works in this context, and I'll be like, nope, it's too, it's too slow. Yeah,
that's so funny. I relate.
I love how you wore the Backstreet Boys t-shirt for.
Thank you. Yeah, and like now that we're.
That's the Millennium era.
No, this is, I think, older.
That's.
Well. No, because Millennium, Kevin had long hair.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, this is like
that's after
Backstreet's Back.
Really?
I think so.
Write in.
What do you think?
Tell us. Is it black and blue? You'll never know. It's not black and blue.
Definitely.
We're like, not that. Although that was a fierce era.
Okay, that album is underrated.
100%. My first boyfriend gave me Backstreet Boys Black and Blue as a gift. It was 2008.
It's so cute.
But and so it had been out for a very long time. And also, you know those tiny little clip players where you had like a tiny little cassette and you could clip it in and it would play hit clips. I had the Call on hit clips. Oh Only God. The Call. I never got another one because I was like, why beat perfection?
Yes, that's amazing.
Yeah.
The last thing I'll say about Black and Blue, the song "Get Another Boyfriend" should have been a single, and you should listen to it.
Listen to the whole album because it's really good.
It is good.
It's not a concept album, but it is a concept album.
Yeah.
Because that's the one with Shape of My Heart.
Yes. Okay. Songs we could hear for the first time. Shape of My Heart. Backstreet Boys.
So there's 2 songs now off Black and Blue by the Backstreet Boys that we would hear for the first time. The Call and Shape of My Heart.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And on that note, I think I think that's a great note.
Are we done here?
Yes. Do you have anything you'd like to promote?
Oh yeah, totally. I'm actually working on, I don't know if you know this, maybe you do, but I've been for like the last year working on my first studio album of music.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's so exciting.
Yeah, we're in like a home stretch era right now. Phase. Just sort of, we have all the tracks lined up and demoed, and now we're just systematically going through and completing them, which is so exciting. I have an album title, which I'm not going to share.
Okay.
Right now.
We don't get the exclusive.
No, you don't get the exclusive. I'll come back and give you the exclusive.
Perfect.
Because I'm a regular now.
Yeah.
You need to have you and Randy.
That would be great.
4-hour podcast, just talking.
Yeah.
Just gab sesh.
I'm so down.
Yeah, because I also want to hang with Randy. So yeah, working on my first full-length studio album. The first single comes out in May. I'm very excited. And it's deeply personal and also really fun, and it's a pop rock album in the vein of like Matchbox 20 and the Counting Crows and Liz Phair.
Whoa. Yeah. Okay.
It's really great.
I can't wait.
Yeah. A little bit of Springsteen vibes in there sometimes too.
Sweet.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun.
Okay. So so follow you.
Unicorn River Child on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, follow Unicorn River Child on Instagram. You can sign up for my newsletter through the link in my bio if you want like more frequent updates. I don't really update my Instagram too much these days, just because I'm trying to focus and
That's good.
Yeah, creative projects, doing new things. It's taking me to like a new place vulnerably that I've never been before.
Aw.
Thanks, Mom.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you. That's so sweet. I felt that. I was like, yeah, because you know what it's like to put something out that means something to you is like, or to work on something and to focus on all the little tiny like minute details. Happens. You write stand up. It's kind of a similar thing.
For sure. Yeah. Writing about your life.
Let the people know.
Yes. Okay. Well, thank you for listening or watching. Tuning in, however you took this in.
Directly into your AirPod Pro.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, we'll see you next time. We love you. Bye.